Yes, this is the ghetto. Showing up now.
Justice James E.C. Perry, born in the segregated projects of New Bern, North Carolina.
You're really not aware of the suffering and humiliation even that many people have gone through, and he did it with such grace, and I was always fascinated to hear his story.
Was appointed to the Florida Supreme Court by Governor Charlie Crist in March 2009.
He said, our job is simple. All we have to do is just do what is right. And I never forgot that, and I applied that every day from that day forward.
You will never have a justice who's had the life experience, that has felt pain, and knows what it's like to be on the other side, to be powerless, to be voiceless, and that Jim Perry is going to be that justice to give the powerless power and to give voice to the voiceless.
He also served as the first African-American circuit court judge of the 18th Circuit, where he developed a reputation for being fair, even-tempered, and jovial.
Justice Perry had great temperament. He had a way about him that was common to people.
He has this incredible laugh when he gets tickled.
He was very patient. He treated everyone very kindly, and all of the lawyers appreciated the ability to try their cases in Judge Perry's division.
As an attorney, Justice Perry built the largest black-owned law firm in Central Florida, and he was heavily involved in a significant number of community activities that impacted the lives of his many friends, colleagues, and particularly the lives of children.
I guess some of the earliest memories I have of my father kind of date back to my AAU basketball days. He was the general manager of our team, and he would come to all my games.
He came to Sanford as the general counsel for the Seminole County Economic Development Corporation. And the commission was responsible for finding good jobs and better jobs for the citizens of Seminole County.
And he was a legendary local attorney in private practice. And over the years, I got to know him as a role model, as a fellow colleague on circuit court bench and fellow chief judge.
The very first person, very first lawyer I ever called on was Jim Perry. And we walked in and I just cold called him. He said, come on back. And it was love at first sight. And we became best friends from that day forward.
After graduating from St. Augustine's College in Raleigh, North Carolina, Justice Perry served in the Vietnam War as a first lieutenant in the United States Army. It was at that time that Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, and Justice Perry decided to go to law school at Columbia University, and then return to the South and continue the civil rights struggle.
You know, in the legal field, a lot of times people are at each other's throats. You know, it can be a war, but Jim was always above that, and he always was calm, cool, and in control.
Justice Perry moved his family to Augusta, Georgia to take the bar exam. Even though he was raised in the South and accustomed to Jim Crow, he was shocked when he and 49 other black students that took the bar in 1972 were all failed. At that time, the entire state of Georgia had only 38 black attorneys. Conversely, 850 white students passed the bar that year. Having no choice and no ability to provide for his family, Justice Perry decided to sue the Georgia State Bar for intentional racial discrimination, even though he was told that he would be blackballed for life if he did.
I think that's the type of personality he has, is he's always thinking about the right thing to do and how to treat people and be treated the way that he would want to be treated as well. So I think that's one of the glowing attributes that he has, is just his heart and his caring as a person.
The suit was filed in 1973. 4 months later, Justice Perry and 24 other African-American students were passed on the next exam. 6 months after that, another 24 students were passed. Georgia had more than doubled the number of African American attorneys in the state in just 1 year after Justice Perry's lawsuit. The suit was later dismissed, but the point was made. Justice Perry says that it has been his honor to serve as Justice of the Florida Supreme Court. It is certainly fitting that his title of Justice is also the ideal to which he has dedicated his entire life's work.
Justice Perry has demonstrated a commitment to fairness and equality throughout his entire career as an attorney and judge. It truly is an honor to award him today with the Dr. Bob Billingslea Lifetime Achievement Award.
I first heard of Jim Perry when I returned from law school, and he was a practicing attorney here in Orlando. And he was sort of a role model at that time before we knew what role models were, because he was successful and a lot of people looked up to him. Justice Perry I've known as an attorney, as a fellow colleague when he was the circuit judge in Seminole County and also the chief judge of that circuit, and also as a Supreme Court justice. Not only has he influenced me, he's influenced a lot of young lawyers, judges, and others by his actions, by his examples, and by how he carried himself. Justice Perry never met a stranger. You can meet people and they appear to be sort of stiff, standoffish. It was like he's known you since day one. He made you feel at ease, and he always made you feel welcome. You know, I've spent a great deal of time with Justice Perry, particularly when he got on the circuit court bench and when he became a justice of the Florida Supreme Court. But there's one particular moment that I really got a chance to see what I call the inner person, the real person. We were in St. Augustine for a committee meeting of the Trial Court Budget Commission. And a group of judges had gone out to dinner in downtown St. Augustine. And Justice Perry and myself were walking back, and we had left the other judges. And we were just talking. And that evening, he began to talk about his family. He began to talk about his wife, his children, and his hopes for them, and what he thought a lot of young people missed out in terms of family. And that was when I knew that deep in his soul, he had a real love for his wife. And, you know, a lot of people say they love their wives, but you could tell by the way he spoke, his facial expressions, and the way he sort of just lit up. And then you could tell the pride that he had in each one of his children. And you could really tell how much family meant to him. And that really explained to me how he cared a lot about other people and how he always wanted to do the right thing. I've had the distinct pleasure to follow his career as a young lawyer, to follow his career as a fellow colleague, and follow his career as a justice on the Florida Supreme Court. He has always been, above all, a gentleman. He's always exhibited the qualities that all great judges and justices should have. And he's always demonstrated a quality that most people overlook. He's quite humble. And you don't find that in a lot of people who reach what we call the plateau in life and that plateau in the legal community. You know, when you get to the Florida Supreme Court, some people lose their common touch. Justice Perry never lost the common touch. And I congratulate him on all his accomplishments. And I know he's getting to that place called mandatory retirement. But I know there are a lot of more great things that are in store for him. And I wish him well. You know, over the years, I got to know him as a role model, as a fellow colleague on circuit court bench and fellow chief judge. And then he was elevated to the Supreme Court. And I can recall at a committee meeting that we were having in St. Augustine, and we had gone out to dinner with a group of judges. We decided that we did not want to stop at the place they wanted to stop to. So, and as we were walking back to the hotel through downtown St. Augustine, I remember a conversation we had. And that conversation told me a lot about him as a person and as a man. And that was when I learned his deep love and affection for his family, his wife, his glowing remarks about his children, and how much they meant to him, and his attitude about service and giving back. It showed me a side of him that was a lot different from the side that I had known with him professionally. And that really gave me a great insight into what a great man he really was. I guess the greatest impact I can say that he had on me was Justice Perry had great temperament. He had a way about him that was common to people. And there's a saying, you can't be around a rose without that fragrance getting on you. And being around him, I think a lot of those things rubbed off on me. And as I said earlier, being a young lawyer, and he was a role model. And he was the type of person that quietly set, and you didn't even know it at the time, goals for you to achieve. And I was quite proud to be a colleague of his, and to have an opportunity to get to know him personally. For a man who has given so much to this community, be it with the Jackie Robinson baseball, be it with other community involvements with basketball teams that he helped sponsor, be it within the legal community, be it within the judiciary. My wish for him is for him to enjoy life. I know that even with his retirement, probably a year from now, that he will continue to be active, and that I just really wish him the best, and that he has a chance to continue to swing those golf clubs and to enjoy life and maybe travel a little bit more. First of all, the award, and being a previous recipient of this award, it means a lot for the community, basically, to recognize you for the contributions that you have made to the community. It means a lot for the community to say, we really appreciate what you have done. Even though you did not seek accolades for what you done, we recognize that and we give you your props. I think that's what it means to me in terms of what I think it would mean to him. He's never been the type of individual that actually sought out the spotlight. He did what he did because he knew it was the right thing to do, and he didn't do it to be in the spotlight. The thing that strikes me and what I will always remember about him was his warmth. It was never like you had met a stranger. It was like he had known you from day one. And he could always find something to talk with you about that the two of you or three of you or four of you will agree on. And usually when you get more than one and have a conversation, there's a lot of disagreement. But he was always able to have this knack about him to bring civility and a calmness to any environment that he was in. To my friend, my former colleague, I would like to congratulate you on receiving this very high honor. I can think of no other individual that is more deserving of this award than you. Congratulations and Godspeed.
I've known Mr. Justice James E.C. Perry for about 40 years. I met him when I was practicing law in Sanford, Florida. He came to Sanford as the general counsel for the Seminole County Economic Development Corporation. And he and the commission was responsible for finding good jobs and better jobs for the citizens of Seminole County. And Jim was excellent. He fit into the community, met people extraordinarily easily, and everybody appreciated him, and everybody liked him. And after he left the Development Commission, he went into private practice in downtown Orlando, and very quickly became known as one of the elite lawyers in Orlando. And in private practice, he was also assistant general counsel for the Orlando International Airport. And he worked with the Board of Trustees for the time when the airport was expanding quite a bit. A lot of the building that went on when Jim was associate general counsel. After that, he was appointed as a circuit judge and in the 18th Judicial Circuit, and sat in Sanford as a circuit judge. And he and I were in the same office. And he was a great assistance to me, a very wise and kind man. And I got a great deal of benefit out of the ability to receive his advice and counsel. And I remember particularly one day I had a case, and there were 8 lawyers in the case, and it was a large money case, and I was explaining that to Jim, and he smiled and he says, Tom, just do what's right. He said, our job is simple. All we have to do is just do what is right. And I never forgot that, and I applied that every day from that day forward. And he was soon elected chief judge of the 18th Judicial Circuit. He was unanimously elected by the 35 county and circuit judges, and did an excellent job. He was an extraordinary chief judge, and that was right before Governor Christ appointed him to the Florida Supreme Court. So he's had an extraordinary legal career, has been a leader at every level, and he is a good lawyer, and he's also a very good friend. That's one of the distinguishing characteristics of Judge Perry was that he had an extraordinary patience. He was very patient. He treated everyone very kindly, and all of the lawyers appreciated the ability to try their cases in Judge Perry's division. And he was by far the most popular circuit judge we had. And like I say, we had about 25 or 26 of them, and so he was a very good trial judge. Excellent. Well, one of the things that he and I had in common is we had very similar families. And and as a matter of fact, his daughter is a good friend of my daughter. And when they would pass the bar at the same time, they took the bar exam at the same time, passed at the same time, and Jim and I swore our daughters in to the Florida bar in the same ceremony, and all the family was there, you know, and I know his family, and he knows my family, and we trade family stories, and you know, and as normal dads, we talk about our kids all the time, and that was one thing that I especially enjoyed in my relationship with Mr. Justice Perry, his family. Jim taught me how to be a good trial judge. He taught me how to interact with the litigants and to get along with the fellow judges. And he was a master at public relations. And you know, in the legal field, a lot of times people are at each other's throats. You know, it can be a war, but Jim was always above that, and he always was calm, cool, and in control. And that example every day, as I watched him go about his responsibilities as a trial judge, it inured to my benefit, and I learned. I want to congratulate him on his past achievements and on this accomplishment. It's a significant honor, and it's well deserved, and it's another step in a continuum of his contribution to the community. I know that Jim thinks that we're all in this together, and that everybody should do their part. Everybody should contribute their part. And he provides that example, and he provides that motivation, and this award is an example of the way that he's lived all his life.
I first met Jim, I was a young lawyer doing personal injury work in Orlando, and I was down in Sanford, Florida, and I was looking to ask lawyers to think about sending me cases. The very first lawyer I ever called on was Jim Perry. The firm was called Perry and Lamb. The building, as I recall, was like 1101 First Street. I remember that number because I went there so many times and sent so many checks to him, referral checks. And we walked in, and I just cold called him. He said, "Come on back," and it was love at first sight, and we became best friends from that day forward. I've got a lot of great memories. Some I can't talk about right now until he's out of office or until the statute of limitations runs. But I think my fondest memories, we've had a lot of good times. We used to, there used to be a Morrison's cafeteria down on Colonial, and we used to go and have lunches there. And I think that when I think about my time with Jim, I think about him telling me about his life and his struggles and about growing up in segregation and growing up the way he did and overcoming everything he did. You're really not aware of the suffering and humiliation even that many people have gone through, and he did it with such grace, and I was always fascinated to hear his story and his story about his mom. I was at his mom's funeral when she passed. So I think that my best memories was listening to Jim's story from where it began to where it ended. I think the biggest impact is, the thing about Jim Perry is, no matter how bad it is, no matter how nerve-wracking a situation is, this guy is just chill all the time. He's never, you wouldn't know if a hurricane was hitting the house, because he's at the same speed with a hurricane outside with a small rainstorm. And I think what Jim taught me was, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be, and it's never as good as you think it's going to be, and it's always somewhere in between, so relax. And Jim is a very relaxed guy, a very soothing guy, and a guy that, now I don't know if Adrian will agree with this, but he is a man that has always seemed to me to be at peace with himself, with his life, and with his family. The things I remember most about Jim is his laugh. He has this incredible laugh when he gets tickled, and when he starts laughing, and I used to be able to make him laugh. Hopefully he's laughing right now when I'm talking about his laugh. And really what I remember most about him is his commitment and his devotion to his family. Jim is a lawyer, and he's a chief justice and all that, but Jim Perry is a husband and a father and a brother, first, second, and third. I wish I could be there to do this in person, but my wishes to my good friend is this. I have been at the front row of a lot of your life, and you have been at the front row a lot of my life. When you became a justice on the Supreme Court, I was honored because you asked me to speak at your swearing in. And I remember when I called Charlie Crist to tell him why he should select you. I said, you will never have a justice who's had the life experience, that has felt pain and knows what it's like to be on the other side, to be powerless, to be voiceless, and that Jim Perry is going to be that justice to give the powerless power and to give voice to the voiceless. So my best wish for you is this, that wherever this journey takes you afterwards, that you find the peace and calm and serenity that you deserve, because you have brought a lot of peace and calm and serenity and enduring friendships to people like me. So I wish that first for you. And the second thing I wish for you is that you don't bug Adrian and get out of the house and do something if you ever retire. And the third thing I wish is that your golf game improves, even though I know it never is going to. I don't golf, but I hear you suck at it, so keep sucking at golf. And Jim, congratulations on receiving this award. The Urban League has been at the forefront of the fights for civil rights and civil justice and justice for all men and all women. Getting this award from this type of organization, I don't need to tell you what it means, but this is a very, very big deal. Congratulations, friend.
Well, you know he's my father, so obviously you know that already. I guess some of the earliest memories I have of my father kind of date back to my AAU basketball days, where he would actually, he was the general manager of our team, and he would come to all my games, and no matter where it was, if it was Arkansas, or if it was in Seattle, Washington, or Louisville, in Kentucky, he was always there, always supportive of everything that I've done, sports related, which was basically basketball. That's not good. You know, one of the things that always amazed me about my father is that he was so caring and so affable to everybody that he met. I remember when we used to go to the store, and he used to say hi to somebody, a perfect stranger. I asked him, well, you know, do you know that person? He's like, no. I was like, well, why are you talking to him? Why are you saying hi? Well, you know, because that's the right thing to do. And I think that's the type of personality he has, is he's always thinking about the right thing to do and how to treat people and be treated the way that he would want to be treated as well. So I think that's one of the glowing attributes that he has, is just his heart and his caring as a person. You know, he wants to. He doesn't try to intimidate you. You know, even though he's 6'3", 200 odd pounds, a very imposing figure. He wasn't that type of father. He wanted you to learn from your mistakes. He'll guide you and obviously tell you to do the right things, but he wasn't trying to intimidate you or force you to do anything. So that's another one of the endearing things about my father. He lets you do what you need to do in order for you to accomplish what you need to accomplish, but he'll make sure that you do it in the right way. So he didn't force any of his children to go into law. We all kind of fell into it. Most parents, they want either the children to be like them or to follow in their footsteps. But, we wanted to do different things when we graduated from college. And I wanted to be a financial analyst. But things didn't work out. But he let us follow our own paths. And so that's one of the things that, like I said, he's not domineering, but he just wants to give you insight and make sure you're following what you're trying to achieve and make sure that you're taking it to the appropriate, I guess, level. So nothing's changed. He's still the same person. Even though he's gone from being a circuit court judge now to a Supreme Court justice, the type of person he is still remains the same. He's still very down to earth. He still cheats at golf. So, things hasn't changed since he's become the justice. So he's still my father. At the end of the day, he comes home, we hug each other and tell each other we love each other, and because he's my father. So I can't put any extra emphasis on the fact that he's a justice now, but he's just my dad. It's kind of interesting. He's won so many awards over the years, and we've had opportunities to go with him. But I know this award, the Bob Billingslea? Okay. Oh, okay. You said the Bob Billingslea? Okay. Billingslea. Essence Award? Legacy Award. Okay. Bob Billingslea Legacy Award. Billingslea. Yeah, he's still alive, isn't he? Yeah. I don't think I know him, but I know of him. Okay. Dad, Justice, or however you want to be called these days. I know all the sacrifice start over. Dad, I know all the sacrifice and hard work you've done over the years to get where you are. And I know all the trials and tribulations you had to overcome to reach the level you have reached as Supreme Court Justice. And I want to congratulate you on receiving the Bob Billingslea Legacy Award. You earned it, and I love you. One of the things that we do that I will always cherish is we spend a lot of time playing golf together, myself and also my brother. And we're a very competitive family, and I always win most of the times. He wins occasionally. My brother wins sometimes as well. But the always interesting thing is that he always says he has it. So every week, I got it figured out. I got it figured out, and then we beat him, and then the next week, oh, I got it figured out. You guys gonna lose this time. So it's just that's the bond that we share. We get chances to fellowship with one another, and I always share those moments that we have together.